Y en esta ocasión en Testimonios tenemos un invitado muy especial que viene de Estados Unidos. Se trata del maestro Jeremy Winston, un director y compositor y arreglista que está radicado en Ohio. Él ha estado al frente de la Orquesta Sinfónica EAFIT en un par de ocasiones, haciendo gospel, negros espirituales y al frente de la obra Porgy and Bess de Gershwin. Entonces los dejamos con el maestro Jeremy Winston.
Hi, this is Jeremy Winston. Greetings to Cecilia and, of course, my friends in Medellin, Colombia. I'm very excited to be able to connect with you in this time of quarantine where the entire world is locked away and have a time to reflect on music, reflect on our time together, and reflect on how we move forward. I tell you, one of the great experiences that I had in working in Medellin with Cecilia and the amazing musicians there was being able to connect cultures musically, because there's something powerful about music styles and the music that we create from our different regions of the world, because even though they're very different in some ways, they're very similar in a lot of ways. And so when we come together, we have an opportunity to engage in sincere expression of the music that has inspired all of us to come together and to be in music. You know, I can think of the violinists to the flautists to the cellists to the percussionists. All of these individuals learned and was inspired by music at some point in their lives, and maybe it came from classical, maybe it came from R&B, maybe it came from jazz, maybe it came from hip hop. No matter what the inspiration was, we all were inspired to develop our talents and our gifts together, and to be able to share that is not only is it a powerful thing musically, because it is. I mean, people experience it in the concert hall, they hear it, and they're moved by it. But it's also a testament to the power of coming together as a community, not just as a local community in Medellin or in America, but a global community. And that we can speak many different languages, we come from many different customs, but when we come together, when we agree on music, and when we hear the beat, when we hear the rhythm, when we hear the chords, when we hear the passion behind it, it inspires us, and it is a snapshot, a small picture, if you will, of what it is that we could do as a global community together. So I always love it. It's such a great experience to be there, and I believe, and it is our goal, my hope, that the audience members, the people who come to hear these concerts, feel that same love, that same passion, and hopefully it inspires them to want to be better citizens and to be better people in general. You know, I think this is very much expanding on my first answer. But absolutely, I think that the music that we provide can be an example to the world that, we have an impact on each other. And that if we take the time to learn each other, to talk to each other, to learn about people's backgrounds and upbringings, we find that there's so much more that connects us than divides us. When we come to our concert in Medellin at the Metropolitano, we did gospel, we did Porgy and Bess, we did spirituals. There was something enriching about the entire event. It didn't feel like, oh, we just did classical here or gospel there. It felt like it was all one music. And I think that this could be an example that as we, as citizens of the world, are trying to get this disease under control, that we have a sincere and a real opportunity to find new ways of connecting and finding new ways of how we impact each other. I had just one thought about the idea of a virus, and the virus, of course, is a bad thing and we want to avoid it. But it is also an indication of how really connected and related we are. That one virus that started, thousands of miles away from all of us, found its way into our countries. Now that's not something we wanted, but it shows that how connected we are, and even if we don't want it, we are connected to each other. So I think music in this time is another indication of how we're connected. And I love using this time, and I've been forced to be creative. And how can I create music while we're separate? And we're doing a couple things, and hopefully you get a chance to hear the Jeremy Winston Chorale. Follow us on Instagram. We're about to release a couple of songs that we're going to be birthed out of the struggle of this COVID-19 experience. And so we really think that even though we're separated, we are reminded of how closely connected we are. Yeah, making music, I think this forces us to be just creative and look at music in a new way. We can't get together and rehearse and just spend hours going over music. We have to find new ways to create it. And just, this is to me the time where musicians can really shine, because we have always excelled at creating something out of nothing. The musician who writes a piece has to sit down and create something out of nothing. Out of thin air, they have to come up with a melody, and they got to hear harmonies, and they got to build and draw from life experiences to inspire the piece of music. And it forces us to kind of create something out of nothing. And this is, in some sense, us being isolated, it's forcing us to review. It's forcing us to review our experience and now create music out of a brand new paradigm and a brand new situation, something that we were not familiar with. That's a big question. That is a big question. How to be current in this profession. Times change, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. We see it over the arc of history. When we look back to the 1800s, we knew things were different then. We look back to the 1900s, things were different then, and now we're in the 20th century, and we're experiencing a brand new shift in music. And so I think again, it needs to pull out of us that same sense of creativity, where the song that we would normally write that may come out of working with the choir in person 3, 4 times, 5 times a week, working with the symphony orchestra on a regular basis, a bunch of people, and finding inspiration. Now we have to draw inspiration from new ways. And so I love the media of Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, being able to explore new music that's being created digitally, and some of it's still accessing the live experience of music. And I think now we just are forced to now recreate it. But I'm hoping that we can reach out and find new ways to collaborate. I hope we can collaborate with you, Cecilia, and many of our friends in Medellin in doing some things remotely. And that offers a new palette and a new blank canvas to make some beautiful art. And but one thing we have to do it together, because I can try to make a group on my own, but it's much better if I have different singers and different instrumentalists to pull it together. So it's forcing us to find new ways to be connected, all around the central theme of making great music. So, and I hope that the Jeremy Winston Chorale can continue to do that. And I love coming to Colombia, Medellin. Hopefully this coronavirus and this isolation won't keep me away, keep us apart too much longer. Thank you so much for letting me chat with you for these moments, and I hope this was inspiring.